yesterday. Gone like a soldier in the Civil War. Bang, bang. Gone like a 59 Cadillac. Like all the good things that ain't ever coming back. She's gone. 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 She's gone.
Welcome everybody to Nashville, Tennessee, Music City, USA. More specifically, welcome to Franklin, Tennessee. We're about 15 minutes south of Nashville. I'll be your host this evening. My name is Seay, and along with my wife Wanda, we hold songwriter events at our house, and we do about 2 a month. We'd like to invite you in to see where the magic is made.
Working on mojo, getting in the groove off the grid. Yeah, I'm playing possum, but I sure as hell ain't dead.
This is where we hold our house concerts. Our songwriters use this room to prep and tune up for their show. As guests arrive, they come into this foyer here. Wanda's sitting in this chair right here, and everybody who has a reservation signs in, and we ask for a $20 donation. All of that money goes to the songwriters. We do about 2 house concerts a month, 20 to 25 a year. So why don't we step into the music room and see where the music is actually made. Okay, as our guests arrive, our doors open at 6 o'clock. The music starts at 7 and goes till about 10:30. And as guests arrive, they come into our music room here. All of our events feature potluck and bring your own drink. And people love that about our house concerts. You'll find these tables full of dessert, this kitchen counter over here just full of food. Everybody brings potluck and we share it. It's kind of like Thanksgiving every day at our house. We have a little wine corner over here, beer cooler underneath, and then we have the pinup board where we keep our schedule and flyers for the upcoming events.
I'm missing sun kisses, blue skies at 75. I'm dreaming of being with my family on the West Coast side.
Okay, so this is the music room. It's about a 900 square foot space, 18-foot ceilings, wood on the walls. We have a Bose sound system. We can set about 80 chairs in the space with standing room only. We've been over 100 many times. On the walls, you'll see that we have some of our favorite artists that have played here and some that we follow that haven't played here. One of the things that when guests show up, it's first come, first serve on seating. Some of our regulars do have assigned seats, but inevitably, we always have questions about the chair on the wall. And very briefly, that's an original Bluebird chair. We're big supporters of the Bluebird Cafe, and we came home one day and that was sitting on our front porch. And it's real special, real meaningful for us, and kind of an indication of our support for songwriters. Another question that people ask all the time is, how did you get started? Well, I'm going to ask Stormy Warren to answer that question for you.
Well, finally today, we're going to drop by the house of Terry and Wanda Seay. They're not country singers, they don't write songs, and they don't even know how to play musical instruments. But in just over a year, thanks to their love of country music, the couple has quickly become the songwriting community's best friends.
And I hope to see you there.
It's a common sight in Nashville. Songwriters sitting on chairs playing their creations to whoever will listen. Most of the time it's in bars or coffee houses. But thanks to Terry and Wanda Seay, Songwriters have a brand new venue to show off their talents, the couple's living room.
Well, we met some people in Key West, and they were doing house parties in New York, and so we got the idea from them. We know a lot of songwriters around town because we love songwriters, and we visit all the venues around town. So we asked songwriters if they'd be interested, and it was resounding yes.
It is so fun, and our whole dream is to help songwriters in any way we can.
I think they kind of said, we go out every night, let's have it where we don't have to leave. Let's have it at the house. So that's what they do, and it's amazing.
Shut off your mind, don't need a thing.
From big names like Kent Blasey, responsible for numerous Garth Brooks smash hits, to brand new songwriters just beginning their quest for success, the monthly open house parties are a welcome haven for the creative soul.
With a 38 tucked out of sight, then I hopped up for it on a Friday night.
It's almost like taking the Bluebird with you. It's just a nice, intimate concert.
Everybody who gets up here is just an amazing singer-songwriter, and they're just hiding out in Nashville. And so you get to hear people you wouldn't normally get to hear, and I love that.
Those 3 words changed my life.
The cool thing about this is, that you're hanging out in the kitchen, in the family room, just pulling up some stools, and it's just all about the songwriters.
Even 13-year-old Easton Hamlin landed a spot on the lineup.
We get that bungee truck all loaded up with everything I own.
It just feels great that I can come in here and play for people and make people feel good. That's kind of the reason why I started doing this, so it's awesome.
I wanna be your everything every night.
Recording artist Adam Gregory has played in arenas and amphitheaters to thousands of fans, but playing in Terry and Wanda's living room might be his favorite gig yet.
It really is. It's something that I love to do, and I'm able to share my music. It's just a great experience. They got over 100 people in there, I think, so.
Terry and Wanda used to spend 5 to 6 nights a week seeking out writers' nights around town. That is until they opened up their home. Literally, their brand new house just south of Nashville was specifically designed for these special open house parties.
We have open mic sessions, and we have featured songwriters, and we've been doing it over a year now, so it's been a real interesting trip so far.
And it's not just about the artists. The house parties are also a welcome treat for the rapidly growing fan base for singer-songwriters.
I love going to any event where I can hear the songwriters tell the stories behind the songs that they write.
The Seays hope their model will be followed by families all across the country, helping to create open-minded shelters for creativity and networking coast to coast.
This is a new thing to Nashville, but I think it'll start multiplying eventually.
Not to beat an old cliche into the ground, but to quote the famous movie line from Kevin Costner's Field of Dreams,
If we build it, they'll come. And they did.
all money raised at the house parties goes to cover production expenses, and anything left goes back to the songwriters, especially the ones who really need it. Out of the hundreds of songwriters in Nashville, only the top 2% of the hitmakers actually make enough money to support their careers.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Music Room. As Stormy was just mentioning, it's so hard for songwriters to make a living these days, and we're just so proud to be a part of the songwriter community. Over the last 10 years, we've collected in donations for songwriters over $200,000, and we're just real proud of that.
Like the stone from David's sling, a little faith is a mighty thing. Let your hopes and dreams take wing. They'll be strong like the stone from David's sling.
So our house concert started in house number 1 in December 2009. Our first event was Tony Arata and Jesse Terry and Craig Carruthers. Tony Arata wrote The Dance for Garth Brooks, probably one of Garth's most memorable songs. Our first house wasn't configured very well for house concerts. We had people hanging over the rails, packed house. We had people sitting in the hallways, and it wasn't long by the time we were finishing the first house concert, I was trying to figure out how to do another one. So we did about 6 house concerts, put our house concerts on hold, and then we built the second house. September of 2010, we moved into our second house. What an event that was. We had so many good songwriters come play at our house. As you see, we designed it so that it would have contiguous rooms from front to back, but it was still crowded. So it wasn't long after that, we had to move to a third house. We moved in here in September of 2016. It's been a wonderful 10 years. In December of 2014, we celebrated 5 years and over 100 house concerts. Fast forward another 5 years into December 2010, and over 200 house concerts. So we're real proud of the run that we've had. We hope it continues. We're just real excited about the events that we put on here. Each one is special. We think you're going to really enjoy our performers that we have lined up for tonight. One thing I wanted to tell you about is along the way in this 10 years, we actually developed a big connection with the Canadian songwriters. We're still doing that. Every October we host all Canadian songwriter event. We had 5 of the top 10 female artists in Canada come down to our house. The offshoot of that was that I was able to set up a radio show in Calgary, Canada that we ran for 2 years every Wednesday morning. It was called the Nashville Connection with Jimmy Hughes. I want to play you a little audio clip from our radio show that we had back in those days.
On Classic Country, AM 1060, it's Wednesday morning, which means we dial down to Nashville, Tennessee, our Nashville Connection. I've got Terry Seay here with us. Terry, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Jimmy. Always fun to call in and talk to you about what's going on in Nashville.
You and Wanda went to Tin Pan North and spent some time in Toronto over the last little while.
Yes, we did, Jimmy. Last week we in Toronto at a couple of different venues, seeing some of the Canadian songwriter friends that we have at Tin Pan North, and we help sponsor that event each year. On Saturday, we made a short trip down to Niagara to see one of our favorite songwriters ever, Bob DiPiero. He's in the Songwriter Hall of Fame, and he's agreed to come to our house on July 23rd and do a house concert, and we're just real excited about having Bob at our house.
Bob's had a huge catalog of #1 hits and top 10 hits in country music. He's written for the best, I'd say, right?
I think so. I think he's got like 15 #1s. Church on Cumberland Road, and Can't Take the Honky Tonk Out of the Girl, and he's a phenomenal guitar player and singer-songwriter, and truly one of the best, and he's a really good friend of ours.
Okay, so that was Jimmy Hughes and the Nashville Connection. We turned that into a benefit for Tin Pan North in Toronto, and again, we've had that hosted that for about the last 9 years. Another little venture that we did along our 10-year musical journey was that we did start a publishing company. We had encouragement from a lot of people. What we found is that people that come and play at our house, you know, they have some incredible songs, but they're not going anywhere. So our business model was to take those single songs and try to give them life. That venture lasted about 4 years, but it was a lesson well learned about the music industry. It just increased our popularity. Companies were actually sending people to play at our house events. So who are some of the more popular people that, when they weren't so popular, came and played at our house? The first one that comes to mind is Casey Musgraves. As you'll see in the picture there, a picture when she played at our house. And this is a picture just last fall, iHeartRadio. And you can see there were about 8 years in between those two pictures. We've had quite a few people like that come through our house and go on and become big-time songwriters, artists.
That's what tradition told you. And it don't matter if you don't believe. Come Sunday morning, you best be there in the front row like you're supposed to.
One of our favorites is Shane McAnally.
Without you, I don't wanna even breathe. I don't wanna dream
For those of you who follow Songland TV show, he's one of the hosts. He played at our first house, and he also played our second house. I think he's played 3 or 4 times. And the picture here with Wanda and I and Brandy Clark, who's also New Artist of the Year. The blonde is Karen Rochelle. She traveled with and toured with and opened for Garth Brooks for over 3 years.
When to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em.
Another notable songwriter who came and played is Don Schlitz. He made Kenny Rogers and Randy Travis famous. Of course, with his writing songs like The Gambler and Forever and Ever Amen. You know, I think Don Schlitz is in the Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame, and he's written, I think, 21 #1 hits. Another very popular player that comes and plays every year is a gentleman named Tom Hambridge. Not so much an everyday name, but he's one of the busiest songwriters in the business. He writes and produces all of Buddy Guy's music.
So this world keeps spinning faster into a new disaster. So I run to you, baby.
Another Tom that came to our house that packed it. We had standing room only for Tom Douglas. And Tom, he wrote The House That Built Me, I Run to You by Lady Antebellum, Little Rock was his first. And he's also in the Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame. Another event that we had a kind of a star-studded event with 3 big-time hit songwriters come and play in this house on one night. David Lee, who wrote I'm a Lucky Man for Montgomery Gentry. We had Win Varble, one of the funniest men on the planet. He wrote Waiting on a Woman, Brad Paisley, and he wrote Easton Corbin's #1 hit, I'm a Little More Country Than That.
I'm a little more country than that.
And to top off that night, we had Tom Shepard. Tom Shepard not only now is Songwriter of the Year in Texas, in the Texas Hall of Fame, but he penned such hits as Riding with Private Malone and the Redneck Yacht Club.
He said my name is Private Andrew Malone, and if you're reading this, then I didn't make it home.
Also, a couple of years ago, Nashville had a British invasion by a group that were originally known as the Bass Brothers, now known as Essex County, and they've penned a record deal with AMG Group, a record label put together by Brad Paisley. Over the 10 years, we've had a number of contestants in these reality shows like American Idol, The Voice. The most recent American Idol one is a lady named Lauren Massetti, and she finished in the top 20 this year. We hosted a watch party for her audition show, and she brought her band. So we had an audition watch party, and then we had a full band concert after that, and that was a special evening. Coming up in the April of 2021, we're co-sponsors for the Palm Coast Songwriter Festival in Palm Coast, Florida. If you get a chance, check out the website. We're sponsors. Anthony Smith, who's playing here tonight, is one of the headliners, along with Jeffrey Steele.
Don't you know I miss you back, but don't you want to me? The blue sky, straight in a straight line, you can't get it.
What I want to do now is take a little break, and I'm going to actually open the floor up for some questions, and we'll be right back to do that.
Yeah, I need you in a rush, so baby run. You can't find a suitcase, get a box, or a no brown paper sack.